Hello, what I'm going to do now is talk you through how to do the reverse to the left, also known as reverse round the corner. Now, on your driving test, the examiner will pull you up on the left and say to you, I would like you to drive past this road on the left and then stop, reverse back into it, staying reasonably close to the curb and doing it with due regard and safety for other road users. So, before you jump into the manoeuvre, make sure you assess the road that you're about to go into. Often you can sort of get a heads up looking at the road from where your vehicle's parked. Obviously on the approach as well, you're going to have a look into the road too. Also have the routine in mind that you're going to use that the instructor's taught you. Now the technique I'm going to talk you through today is how to do this manoeuvre using full turns. Okay, as you get better, you may not need to do it in just full turns. So you might use your coordination and adjust the steering accordingly. But if you're watching this video, there's a chance that you're struggling. So I'm just going to show you how to keep it nice and simple and get around that corner so you can pass your test. So I've got my routine in mind. So I'm going to start with a POM routine. So clutch down fully and then into first gear. Now I'm going to set the gas gently, so I've got a lively hum, and then ease the clutch up to the biting point. Now I'm going to look all around me, so my left shoulder, left door mirror, interior mirror, looking ahead, right door mirror, and then right shoulder, and there's nobody around, so I'll release the handbrake. Now as I drive past the road, I'm going to look into it, make sure there's no problems like parked cars or kids playing near the road, and then I'm just going to check my mirrors, and see a vehicle in the distance, so I'm going to put my left signal on as well. If there's no one around, then you won't need a signal. If you're in any doubt though, a signal, you won't get marked down for putting a left signal on. Okay? Once you've stopped, handbrake, and then neutral, and then cancel your signal. Now, I'm about a drain width from the curb, and I'm about 3 car lengths away from, about 3 to 5 car lengths away from the corner. So I'm going to put it into reverse now. And then I'm going to prepare the car. I'm going to find my biting point, so gas and clutch to bite. Now remember, on this manoeuvre, you're controlling the vehicle with just the clutch, okay, the speed of the vehicle. So if you need to slow down, push the clutch down. If you need to speed up a little bit, just bring the clutch up by a couple of millimeters. If you're driving a diesel, you may not need the gas, okay, but I'm going to keep the gas set on because this is a petrol. So I've released the handbrake, and I'm going back slowly, just glancing in my door mirror. I should see about a drain width, and I'm looking over my left shoulder, looking ahead, looking in my door mirror, looking over the left shoulder. For the moment, all I need to do is keep my steering wheel straight. According to that door mirror, I look about a drain width from the curb. But just keep your head scanning all around you, and if anything does come, remember it's their priority, so you'll need to stop. I'll tell you about that shortly. So when the corner disappears in my back window, I'm going to stop. So about now, and then I'm just going to glance in my left door mirror for an update, and I can just see the curb starting to bend round. I'm going to pull the handbrake up to talk you through the next part. So I can see the curb in my left door mirror, and it looks about a drain width. Now the key with this manoeuvre is to keep the position from the curb about a drain width all the time. So I'm going to find my biting point, gas and clutch, look all around me. So left shoulder, left door mirror, interior mirror, looking ahead, right door mirror and right shoulder. As I release the handbrake, there's no one over my blind spot. The car moves back slowly. Watch what I do with the steering wheel. It's one full turn with the steering wheel to the left. So I'm looking over the left shoulder, door mirror for updates, and my right shoulder. Now I'm starting to get a little bit close to the curb here, less than a drain width. So keeping the car moving slowly, I'm going to go one full turn to the right. So I'm keeping that drain width from the curb. I'm just going to pause a second to talk you through this bit. I had to do that, take the steering wheel off to the right because it was coming in a little bit early. But the key is I know what I'm doing with my steering wheel. I'm just sticking with full turns. So I'll just pull the handbrake up, find my biting point again and look all around me. Now I'm looking in that door mirror and the curb's starting to come away, more than a drain width, so I'm going to go one full turn to the left again. Keep that head scanning all around you. And then when it becomes less than a drain width, one full turn to the right. As I say, when you get better at this, you might not need to work in full turns, so it'll look a little bit more glamorous. And now I'm coming away from the curb, so I'm going to go one full turn to the left again. And then when I look like I'm a drain width from the curb and parallel with the curb too, I'm going to straighten one full turn to the right. All the time you want to avoid dry steering. I'll explain what that is in a moment. And I can see I'm a drain width still. I'm looking all around me still. Once you've come back 3 car lengths, it's just clutch down and stop. Secure the car with a handbrake, neutral, and then you can rest your feet. So, I've come back about 3 car lengths away from the giveaway lines at the end of the road. I'm about a drain width from the curb. Now there's a few things that I want to talk to you about. I mentioned dry steering. Now this means turning the steering wheel when the car's not moving. The problem with this is you damage the tread on your tyres and you can knock out the wheel alignment on your car too. So on your test this is deemed as a minor fault, so try to avoid the dry steering if you can. So basically the car should be moving slowly when you're turning that steering wheel. I also mentioned stopping for vehicles coming towards you. Now remember, when you're doing the manoeuvre it's their priority. So as they come towards you, you need to stop and acknowledge that they're there. When you stop, they're more likely to go round you. Sometimes they will just go round you, but you need to stop in good time to also show the examiner that you've seen them as well. Okay. Sometimes you'll stop and that vehicle will wait for you. Just reset your observations and just double check that it's safe to carry on, and if they continue to wait then obviously carry on with the manoeuvres slowly and just be prepared to stop if they start moving towards you again. I mentioned staying a drain width from the curb. If you don't know what a drain width is, a foot, okay? And that should be your measurement as a rough guideline, and if you stick to that sort of distance away from the curb you won't go far wrong. Anything less, you'll need to start turning away from the curb, so to the right. Anything becoming more than a drain width, then you'll need to consider turning to the left, okay? As I say, work in full turns to start with, and as you get better you might use your coordination, your spatial awareness and adjust the steering wheel without having to do these full turns to keep track. In the event you get too close to the curb and you think you're going to bump it, don't carry on, just stop. You can take a shunt forwards. A shunt is where you go forwards to give yourself enough space to go backwards again to adjust the manoeuvre. This manoeuvre doesn't have to be pretty to pass, yeah? So you can take 1 or 2 free shunts on your test and still pass as long as you've got the effective observations looking all around you all the time, yeah? Sometimes vehicles will come towards you and they'll wait and they're actually blocking the path that you want to reverse into. So if this happens, you've got to be prepared to go back to your start position. So what you do is handbrake into first, do your observations before moving off. 9 times out of 10 they've gone round you. Bonus, you can carry on with your manoeuvre and go backwards again. In the event that you've looked all around you and they're still waiting behind you like a stone, then you're going to have to go back to your start position, unfortunately. Obviously make sure if you're going round to the left you put a left signal on to come back out of the junction, and then you have to pull up on the left 3 car lengths away again. When you finish the manoeuvre, sometimes you'll pull the handbrake up and put it into neutral and the examiner will remain quiet. Take this as a clue that something's wrong. It might be that you haven't come back far enough. It might be you're too far away from the curb, so they want you to adjust something. If you put the handbrake on and you put it into neutral and they're just sitting there like a stone, that's a little heads up that something to do with your positioning needs adjusting before you drive off. You'll know if they're happy with the manoeuvre because you'll secure the car and put it into neutral, and they'll say thank you for that. I won't be asking you to do that again when you're ready to drive on. Lastly, don't forget your observations. So before you start the manoeuvre, 360 observation. As you approach the corner in reverse, stop, 360 observation. As you get better, you can do that 360 observation on the move, but there's no harm in stopping again. As you're coming round the corner, keep looking over your left shoulder. You'll need to glance over your right shoulder at least twice more if necessary. Keep looking over that left shoulder. Don't get too boggled down with that left door mirror. You can glance in it, but if you stare for too long, the examiner could fail you for not paying attention to what's around you. Obviously the left door mirror is predominantly telling you where the curb is and not really what's around the vehicle. And that's really where most people fail on observations, is their eyes are on the door mirror too much and not scanning all around them. So just remember that word, scanning, and looking over that left shoulder, and you shouldn't go far wrong on your test.